Before we end off, I do the. It's up to you if you want to do it. I usually do these like little games, like a this or that movie edition. I
Yeah,
it's kind of hard because I pick good films. So if you're up for it, I only got like five. If you want to do like a quick this or
I'm up
that.
for it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm down.
All right. All right. Well, it's gonna be hard. I'm not gonna give you easy ones.
Okay,
All right. Let's first
lay it
start off with
on.
this one. Uh, The Godfather 1 or Godfather 2?
Godfather 2.
That was quick. That's my
Do I
favorite
need
too.
to do you want me to elaborate
No, no, no. You don't have
yeah,
to.
no,
No.
I saw them both recently and I don't know, there's something about there's a string of scenes in act 3 of Godfather 2 that are just like unparalleled, and the whole like John Cazale's performance, I just want to like it's just yeah, I go too.
Yeah, yeah, same here. And one thing to mention about that, sorry, just to kind of
Yeah.
because John Cazale, great actor. What I love about there's the different levels of characters. You got Sonny, for example, in part one, I'm talking, right? Like he's the hot-headed one, right? And Fredo's the middle kid who's like he's a sweet, but he's not strong, he's not the boss type. And you got Michael. He's the calm, he's the cool guy, but he becomes the boss. I don't know. I just thought that love the hierarchy was really interesting.
You almost started doing his voice there. You sounded like him for a second.
Who,
He's
Al
calm.
Pacino?
Yeah, he's calm. He's calm. He's cool. You
Uh,
sounded like him.
you know what's
Work on
funny? I do. Okay, I think it's pretty bad. I'll do a quick little thing. I sometimes do Pacino accents. It's like I do the oh ha. I do when he's in the 1999. He got this voice in himself. Like I can kind of do that, but the younger Pacino, I kind of have to go like a little like this, and it's a little harder to do. You gotta kind of move your lip to the side, but it's a little harder to do. But
Yeah,
I'm glad you
yeah.
picked that up.
Good. Keep working on it. It's good.
All right, the next one. It's gonna be tough. Okay. Okay. For the Batman movies, the Dark Knight or Batman Returns?
Um. So you're talking the original Batman Returns with Michelle
Michael Keaton
Pfeiffer and
and Michael Keaton, yeah.
yeah.
I
Oh man,
stumped him.
people are gonna
I
hate me for that.
stumped him.
I'm going
Yes.
Batman Returns. I'm going
Yeah.
Batman
You
Returns.
know what's funny? Okay, Dark Knight, I know it's considered like one of the greatest
It's
films of all time.
awesome, but
It's awesome. But Batman Returns has that. I think it's the nostalgia why I love it so much too. Danny
I
DeVito.
think that Michelle Pfeiffer is one of the most underrated actors of all time in any, male or female in any genre. She had a string of performances in the late 80s and early 90s from, movies like Fabulous Baker Boys and Married to the Mob and Love Field and there's more, but Batman Returns is one of them, and I just think she's just magnificent. And so yeah, let's go Batman Returns.
All right, that's a good choice. Now we're gonna go Spielberg here. Okay, Jaws or Indiana Jones? I know they're completely different movies, but for
Oof,
Spielberg.
I don't want to lose either of those movies, but I'm going Jaws. I think that you know I think if you're making a list of the greatest American movies ever made, um, it's Jaws is very, very close to the top of the list. As much as I absolutely adore both of those movies. They're both masterpieces, and they are, I think, unless I'm forgetting something, I think they're Spielberg's two best movies too.
Yeah. So
In my opinion,
yeah. Uh,
Schindler's List is obviously amazing,
yeah.
but I think those are the two best. But I'm going Jaws.
Yeah. Jaws 2. Not Jaws Part 2, but I meant to say
Yeah,
Jaws as well. It's Quentin Tarantino's one of his favorite movies as well. He thinks it's considered one of the best films ever in cinema.
yeah,
So
I
yeah,
think so too.
I think when you
I
hear
agree.
someone like that say, yeah, for sure. Now this is a cool one: Star Wars or Star Trek?
The movie, you got to go Star Wars.
Star
It's
Wars.
more. I mean, Star Trek's a good movie actually, but it's just not as important of a movie. It's more important as a property and as a television show. But as a movie, Star Wars like changed cinema. Um, probably as much as anything, other than maybe Citizen Kane, maybe, um,
Yeah, I'm glad
but
the lightsabers got fixed early on, later on in the decades, because when Alec Guinness was fighting Darth Vader in A New Hope, it's like my age. I'm only 24, so when I'm watching that like 5 years ago, it's like, oh my God, it's like you could tell it's so fake, but you got to give them credit, right? It's a thing of its own. But that was ahead of its time when it came out. So
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know what? The last two we'll do because I know they're kind of similar in a way.
Okay.
Scarface or Carlito's Way.
I prefer, yeah, both De Palma movies, right?
Yeah, that's why. Yeah,
I, 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 I prefer Carlito's Way.
me too. Yeah, and I'll say what I think, and then let's see if you agree. Because if you look at a movie like Scarface, okay, it's over the top, it's great, it has that violence and stuff. But I find Carlito's Way, I find you connect more with the character first off, and second off, I find it's a little bit more realistic and grounded, which almost makes it feel well. Like you have to remember, Scarface was obviously more popular than Carlito's Way, but I find that Carlito's Way, the movie itself, was just a little bit more realistic, in my opinion. But I don't know.
Let me give you a couple of my favorite Pacino performances.
Tell
Um,
me.
are I think that while we're talking about greatest of all time, I think that Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon is as close to a perfect performance as you'll find on
Attica,
celluloid.
Attica.
I just think it's what an unreal, beautiful performance that is. And his later film that I love, probably maybe my second favorite performance of his ever, which I know is crazy, which is saying a lot. And a really underrated movie is Donnie Brasco.
Oh,
God, what a great
forget
movie
about
that
it.
is.
Come on.
Oh God, that is a great movie, and such a sad and wonderful performance by Pacino in that movie. I mean, like it's against type. He's not the tough guy that he is in a lot of movies. He's a wannabe in that and yeah, if you haven't seen Donnie Brasco in a while, go back and give it another watch because it is a great movie.
Yeah, I actually had on last year Michael Madsen on my show to discuss the
Oh,
film
no
and stuff.
kidding. I know Michael.
Yeah, yeah, great
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, and he told me some good stories about Pacino in that movie too. Like he just how he gets like I don't know. Is he technically a method actor? Would you say that or no? Is he kind of I don't
I don't. It depends on what.
it's hard to say. I don't know.
That's a whole other long conversation because
Yeah.
there's like usually when people say method now they mean people who like stay in character even when they're not shooting, which is kind of like what um I think Jeremy Strong does that and Shia LaBeouf and some of these guys.
Daniel Day-Lewis 100% too.
Yeah, Daniel Day Lewis has a reputation for that, obviously, and but the term method went back to goes all the way back to Stanislavski, and then sort of through Lee Strasberg as acting teachers.
Yeah.
And that wasn't as specifically staying in character. It was more about sort of the how you approach a character psychologically, and from that standpoint, I'm sure he probably sort of qualifies, but I don't think he's not one of these guys who stays in character when the director calls
No,
cut.
definitely not. But
Yeah,
yeah, but no, Sean, I gotta say this was a fantastic. I could talk to you for hours. Shit,
yeah,
it sucks that I have to end it off. But yeah, it's been a blast. I appreciate you taking the time to do this today. We gotta stay in touch. You're great, and yeah,
I appreciate it.
yeah, we gotta do this again sometime. Honestly,
All right, man. Thanks. I'd be happy to. All
thanks,
right.
man.
Be
Take it
well.
easy. Bye.
Thank you.